It's Keo, it's Zels, money man. He's still in Europe. He'll be back this weekend. You can follow him for all his tips and all his thoughts on his Money Man page. For now, it's the two of us. And we're talking Rugby Championship, Bledisloe Cup, Vodacom URC, DHL Stormers. We'll get to them later. But a lot of spice in Auckland. Australia against New Zealand, and it's a nice one. The All Blacks are winding the Wallabies. They have to get the 5 points to win the Rugby Championship. They've retained the Bledisloe Cup. 6 changes to the All Black side that won 39-37 Zels. Few changes to the Wallabies. Dave Rennie, 11 from 28, 38%. It's not looking good for him, but he's your man. And you told me earlier, this is the one that the Wallabies go and win.
I lied. The All Blacks haven't lost at Eden Park since 1994, so you've got to feel like home ground advantage and history is counting in their favour. Having said that, I don't like the look of that All Blacks team, and I feel like the Wallabies, as I've said multiple times, I'm not sure whether you remember, under Dave Rennie are trending in the right direction. I feel like the All Blacks are going to win this week, but it's not going to be by as much as people think.
Well, you told me outside that the All Blacks were not going to win, okay? And Dave Rennie must love you because we're getting on Jacques Nienaber's case for a 60% win record. He wins 1, he loses 3. He wins 1, he loses 2. What is this about Dave Rennie? Some coaches, the world believes, can't do any wrong and some can't do any right. Why does Rennie get the benefit of the doubt?
Well, I think the big difference here is that Dave Rennie is coaching in a country called Australia, where rugby is nowhere on the sports radar. Jacques Nienaber is in charge of the greatest rugby nation in the world. So the expectations are a little bit different. Dave Rennie has a track record of success, and what I like about him is he brings edge to a team. And one thing the Wallabies have lacked in recent years is a little bit of mongrel. I think that could be very dangerous.
Well, when we talk about intelligence, Bernard Foley, I think he'll be kicking his kicks to touch. Coyote saying they disrespected the haka by making their boomerang. Dave Rennie, and I think rightly, has come back and said, you lay down the challenge, or we respond to the challenge. We don't have a haka. But the boomerang, obviously symbolic of the Aborigine, and that's how they respond. I think it's fantastic for the game. I love that theatre. So if the All Blacks are going to do it, allow a team to charge. Allow a team to kind of do their figure eight or do whatever they want.
Absolutely.
And it adds to that theatre. But it's nice to see a game being hyped with a little bit of niggle and a little bit of ugliness pre-match, and not the platitudes of they're a great team, they're a great team. That incident that's got Darcy Swain 6 weeks when he should have been out for the year. Easily. That has turned this test into an ugly affair.
Yeah, first of all, Rico Ione should maybe consider that they disrespected the haka when they lost to Argentina at home and then lost to Ireland in that series. So I'm not so sure about that. Second of all, yes, there is some niggle leading up to this test match, and that is fantastic. You love that Trans-Tasman rivalry. So let's see what happens at Eden Park on Saturday.
All right, let's look at that 6-week suspension. Kurtley Arendse gets 4 weeks playing a man in the air, recklessly, no intent. Grant Williams gets 4 weeks for an accidental head clash in a tackle. This guy deliberately went in and took a guy's knee out. That guy is not going to play again this season. We don't know if he's ever going to play at the same level again. And it's 6 weeks. What message does that send out to the world?
Well, spot on. And we spoke about it earlier, if Darcy Swain hadn't been found guilty of headbutting somebody earlier on, would this have been 4 weeks or maybe even 3? It's clear that he goes in there to hurt that player and in a way that is illegal in the game. And for me, that is a minimum 12 weeks upwards.
It's his knee at stake, and he cleans him out. Would you be suggesting to that young All Black, sue the guy?
I mean, absolutely. I don't know. I don't know enough about legal proceedings to really say. But if there's a way that you can hold somebody accountable for something that is completely outside the game, I would definitely investigate that if I was Quinn. I mean, potentially his career is never going to be the same again.
All right, so he's out. Tuivasa Sheck is now coming onto the bench. When are they going to play this guy? They're now playing Geordie Barrett at 12. It really is disappointing for me because I think he's a wonderful, wonderful footballer. And rugby player, but they've given him 10 minutes against Ireland in a losing test decider. He's on the bench with Sevu Reece. Their bench doesn't look bad. Geordie Barrett at 12. Is he the answer?
No, I don't think so. If you're looking for a guy who can set a target at 12, a guy who's 6'5" and a little bit lanky is not really the right option, I think. And Tuivasa Sheck, we've obviously seen and read and heard all the press about how amazing this guy is and the skills that he brings to the position. I'm not sure what the hesitation is with giving him a go.
Yeah, I mean, he's gone back to the NPC. He's played in 4 or 5 games for Auckland. But his time certainly is running out in terms of familiarising himself with the game for the World Cup.
Exactly.
Unless they want to hold him back for the World Cup.
And make sure that he's ready to go. Maybe they know more about it than we do. Who knows?
Well, they are working closer with him.
Yeah.
I quite like the look of that back line. I don't mind the combination they got with Reese and Rog on the bench. And Geordie Barrett, look, Fozzie loves him. He'll play him anywhere. I think Fozzie loves him like Jake White loved Frans Steyn. You know? No matter what he does, he's going to play. Good back line. Interesting. I like their tight 5. The back row. Surely a straight swap. You keep Hoskins to do, and you put Ardie Savea where he's best in place of Sam Cane. They've gone the other way around.
Yeah, that would have been my call as well, Mark. I agree. Not a big fan of that particular back row. Do like the combination of Richie Moanga at fly half and Bowden Barron at the back. Don't like the centre combination, as we've spoken about. I think Seve Reese is their best winger, and they need to field him. But yes, that back row. A lot of guys here with a lot of heart. I'm not sure they've got their ceiling is quite low there, I think, on a guy like Dalton. All
right, so South Africans, we hate the Australians in everything, okay? We love travelling there because it's a beautiful country to go to, but the whinging Aussies, doesn't matter what sport
we did like the Honey Badger, didn't we?
We loved Honey Badger, but he was the exception, not the rule, okay? Yeah. But everyone's saying cheer for the Wallabies, cheer for the Wallabies.
Can't do it.
Never cheer for the Wallabies.
Impossible.
The best result that we could want is an actual draw. A 32-32 draw. A fantastic game of rugby, and we just have to go out as the Springboks in Durban and win the game against the Pumas, and we win the Rugby Championship, and all is forgiven. And Jacques Nienhaber tells us, I only win the big ones, I only win the ones that matter. Who cares about Wales in Bloemfontein when we can win the series the next week? So the permutations are, if the All Blacks win and get the bonus point, they, for scoring 4 tries,
for scoring 3 tries more than
3 tries more than the Wallabies. It'll be very hard for us to actually catch them because they do have a 13 points differential advantage.
Correct.
So thankfully Australia pulled it back quite a bit in the last game. Otherwise they would have been well on their way. And we got the 82nd minute bonus point try against the Pumas and a 16-point differential there. If they just win, we then can clinch it by winning by more, by eradicating that 13-point differential. But if we get the bonus point, then the competition is ours. So it does come down to league points first, then tournament points differential, and then only after that does it come down to points differential between the 2 teams. And that would favour us in terms of the 2 contests we've had. But it's going to be a tough ask for the Springboks to win this Rugby Championship despite the result, because I have a feeling that the All Blacks are going to smash the Wallabies.
Yes, I think they are going to smash the Wallabies, and I think they are going to get the bonus point. I'm not sure it's by as wide a margin as 17 points, which I think the bookies are looking at, but I think they will. I think they'll find a way to score those tries. I think Australia may have to live with a bit of Foley kicking penalties.
I have a 42-27 for the All Blacks.
Wow.
That's a 15-point differential.
Yeah.
And hopefully, it can be like they can cancel out a try or 2. But I'm not that optimistic. I really don't have much faith in this Wallaby team after the way they came back and the way they lost the game. Cards can change everything, but All Blacks for me, big favourites at Eden Park. The last time they lost there, as you said, Zels, 94 against the French. I was in the press box that day. The last time they lost to Australia there, 1986. Greg Cornelissen scored 4 tries. The score was 30-16. So they really need something special, Australia. Teams have started to come close at Eden Park. We saw the British and Irish Lions. They drew their 3rd test, 15-all. But even if you look at how poor the All Blacks were in the Irish series, they still started against a very good Irish team with no coach in Auckland and blitzed them 42-19 with 6 amazing tries. That is their cathedral, and I just can't see Australia coming close. What's the best Australia can hope for?
Australia can hope for a losing margin bonus point, but I don't think they're going to come close enough to do that. Potentially, they could come within 7 and stop New Zealand from getting that crucial bonus point, potentially crucial bonus point. But my guess is that the All Blacks win this 35-22.
35-22, that's a 13-point differential. I have a 15-point differential. The bookies have, you say, a 17-point differential.
17.
It's going to be double digits. The big one for us, though, Durban, 4:30 in the afternoon is the build-up, 5 o'clock kickoff. After we've watched the Bulls and the Stormers in action at home, both playing at 2:30 in the Vodacom United Rugby Championships. Frans Steyn at 10, the big talking point. I couldn't see them doing anything else this week. Where else could they go?
Who else are you going to play there?
And they couldn't fly anyone in on the Monday, really.
Sure.
That hasn't been in the squad. Jordan Hendricks hasn't been in the squad. I rate him. So with no Yankees there, with Pollard at Leicester injured, Damian Willemse concussed, you had to think Frans Steyn was the obvious to start. And we'll see how it goes. If they've got a comfortable lead after 60, you may find Willie Leroux going to 10, Kurt Arendse going to fullback and them experimenting with a few things, or Faf coming in and playing a little cameo near the end as well. He has played there for Sale Sharks at times, and he does take those short kicks. Peter Steff coming back for Franco. Same starting pack, really. It's a good side.
It is a good side. I think it's a great side. I do worry about Frans Steyn at 10. He's a guy who likes to have a go, a bit of a riverboat gambler, but certainly a prodigious talent, a guy with a great track record, immense experience, big body, hell of a talented player. I mean, he's a 2-time World Cup winner. So,
well, he's 35 years old. He still nails those big ones from the corner. We've seen that in a couple of cameos that he's played. Look, I think he's the finest talent to have come out of South African rugby in the professional age, and one of the finest talents in world rugby. His great value, his appetite is still there. He's admitting to people he's getting a little bit tired, fatigued with all the travelling.
Yep.
But I love Frans Steyn as a player. I think he's immense in what he's brought to Boks rugby. He's never really wanted to play 10 or done it at 10. He started famously and fabulously against Ireland in 2006 as a youngster, a teenager, lean machine, scored a wonderful try, then went back to fullback, and I always felt 12 was his best position where he settled. This guy can play anywhere, he can do anything. I think he's good from a confrontational value against the Pumas.
Definitely.
He's an extra forward there. They'll think it's Frans Malherbe and him coming in at the same time. So they'll be running at him. He'll be running at them all day, and I think his boot will be very good for us as well. He can kick those 50-22s, and he's been kicking well for posts as well. So short term, this is definitely not a long-term thing. I think people, I've been watching social media, people are like, how can you play a 35-year-old? You know, we played Mornay Steyn when we needed to, and kind of won us the Lions series. So once off, I get that, but what it does show up is there needs to be greater investment in the likes of Lebok and Jaden Hendricks, two specialist 10s. Jordan Hendricks, thanks for that. Thinking of his little bit there, or his older bit, Jaden. That should something like this happen in the World Cup, they've at least been in the system.
Spot on.
Because we're back to 2011, aren't we, in New Zealand? They didn't think they'd be calling old Beaver Donald from doing his white baiting to win them a final. So this is also a good wake-up call for them to say, okay, we don't know if Elton Jantjies is going to come back. Andre Pollard has had serious injuries at the moment. You could have that ill fortune with the Damian Willemse getting concussed. Who is next?
Absolutely.
Next cab off the rank. Who is it for you?
So, I mean, I love Jordan Hendricks. I think he's a guy that's got a very bright future. In terms of looking ahead to the next World Cup, I'm not sure you bring in a rookie and invest in him there. I think maybe in that situation, you have to look at more experienced players. When Alton and Andre were ruled out, it became a bit of a lottery, and there seemed to be a little bit of uncertainty around who should step in as a number 3. And I think they've taken too long in the last 18 months to 2 years to actually get Damian Willemse as the third choice fly half. And it's unfortunate now that he's had this concussion. So Jordan's definitely one on the radar for me for the future. The 2023 World Cup may come a bit too soon for him. What I will say also about this weekend is 2 things are guaranteed. The Boks are going to win, and Frans Steyn is going to get charged down at some point. That long wind up on that kick of his, I think, is going to maybe get him in a little bit of trouble at fly half where he has a little bit less space.
But if he does get charged down, what I'm looking forward to is when he turns and he chases back.
Chases him down.
And he's going to smash whoever charged down that kick. Because when he does make a mistake on the field, he hunts down the player to try and fix that mistake.
But listen,
I don't know if I told you that I really love Frans Steyn as a rugby player.
You mentioned it once or twice. Yeah, he is. He is on your list of top 3s.
Yeah. And if you don't believe it, go check the archives on Keo.co.za and SARugbymag. It's all Frans Steyn.
Yeah. That's what worries me.
Just want to tell you, I really love that guy.
Who?
Frans Steyn.
Oh, right, Frans Steyn. What worries me also about Frans Steyn is that when things go wrong, he may try and fix the whole situation.
Too many things worry you about
He's going to be carrying this team on his own when things get messy, and that can also be something that digs him into a bit of a hole.
I can understand that when he's playing for the Cheetahs, he's got to carry that team, okay, him and Rumpina. He's playing for the Springboks. Brilliant pack.
Yes.
We're talking about geez, Peter Steff coming back for Franco
Beautiful.
Mostert. But the point there is, we question why is Peter Steff coming back for Franco Mostert, which tells you
Fabulous.
the dynamic in terms of how well Franco's played.
Yeah, so it's been great.
And Peter Steff has struggled. Both you and I would have loved to see Ulrich Loh in the 23 again.
Definitely.
Dwayne, he comes back now. He plays 40 minutes. He goes back to Ulster. And he's there for a month before he plays with the Boks. I just don't see the gains there.
That's a complete waste of
I thought
time.
Ulrich would have been another 40 minutes of Test rugby
Absolutely.
exposed to the game. You know, that's just my opinion. Don't know if I've told you either. I really love Ulrich Loh as a player and Evan Riss as a player.
Yes.
We'll get on to Evan Riss and the Stormers in just a little bit. Boks, first thing is they got to win the game. That's what they got to focus.
Correct.
It's a bit like Sydney, a bit like Buenos Aires. They've shown when they've played Argentina at home, last year especially, and they won comfortably with two different teams, 20 points and 20 points. We love to play once we build scoreboard pressure.
Yes.
We're not that good when we're chasing a game.
100%.
And they're not that good either.
Correct. Yeah. No, so look, Argentina is very much like South Africa, not really a big play, big game kind of team. They feed off what you give them. So if your error rate is high, you bring Argentina into the game. If your error rate is low, it's pretty difficult for them to hurt you outside of out physicaling you, out muscling you, and that's something that you'll struggle to do with South Africa. So we're in the pound seats this weekend. I'm not sure whether we can turn that into a bonus point victory, but I definitely have the Boks to win this one.
All right, and the weather, it's typical Durban. It may rain a bit.
Yeah, but a sprinkles predicted, so that will obviously have an impact on the game.
All right, so your score predictions, Els?
I've got the Boks to win this one by only 8 points. So I'm going to go with South Africa 29, Argentina 21.
All right, I got the Boks to win 35-18, which gives me, what, a 17-point differential. Mm-hmm. And I think that they will get the bonus point.
Beautiful.
But unfortunately, they're going to rue those last 7 minutes against the All Blacks at Ellis Park, because that was where the Rugby Championship was decided.
Correct.
And it would have been an incredible Rugby Championship success for South Africa. The Boks at least know what they've got to do by the time they run on the field. Looking forward to that great game in Auckland. I think it's going to be a ripper. Our one is not going to have quite the excitement of that one, but it'll have good intensity. But the Boks to win and the Boks to win well. So we've seen international rugby in the morning. We've seen it late afternoon. But in between that, we've got two home games in the Vodacom United Rugby Championship. We got the defending champion, the DHL Stormers, out in Stellenbosch, the home of Donnie Craven, hopefully to a crowd of 10,000 plus.
Fabulous.
Playing against Connacht. And they owe them one from last season.
Yes, they do.
And then we've got the Bulls entertaining a very good Edinburgh side.
Yeah.
Where's it going for you?
I'm going to go home teams all the way. I think it may be a bit of a rusty start for both of the sides, but they finish it off. The Bulls using home ground advantage and altitude to finish off Edinburgh, and the Stormers a nice fast start in Stellies.
And the Stormers, I like the side. A very youthful side.
Very.
But what I like is a guy at number 8, Evan Riss. Now, if I told you, I think he's a fantastic player. I really love him as a rugby player.
Yeah, he is great.
He's going to be angry.
Very.
They've forgotten about him.
47 minutes.
They forgot about him.
They forgot all about him.
He won every single award. He won the title. Man of the match, man of the season, fans.
Best fringe.
Everything.
Everything.
And then they forgot about him.
47 minutes, mate.
46 minutes, I think it was.
Oh, was it?
46 minutes, and I thought he did particularly well.
Yeah.
The talk was that he had to work on his defensive...
His maul defense.
And that's what he's been doing. But don't expect to see maul defense from him on Saturday. Expect to see him ball in hand, making impact, making big hits, and really inspiring this very youthful Stormers side.
Yes.
I got the Stormers to win. I got them to win by 12. I got the Bulls to win by 15.
Beautiful. I've got the Stormers to win this one by 15 and the Bulls to win this one by 9.
Hey, we got two teams overseas.
Yes.
South Sea Sharks, the Emirates Lions.
Yeah. Sharks are in Palma playing Zebra on Friday night, and the Lions are playing Ospreys away on Saturday night. So two good ones. I expect both of them to also get off to a winning start. The Lions are actually 10-point underdogs in that Ospreys match, but I've got a good feeling about them. I do like Marius Lowe. I think he's going to bring some real workman-like work ethic to that Lions backline.
Well, I've got the South Sea Sharks to feed on a little bit of ham in Palma. Good old Italian ham.
Just watch out for the water.
Exactly. I think by now we know not to drink it.
Exactly. Take your own stuff.
Watch out for all the delights when you get to Palma, and enjoy them after the game. So I've got the Sharks to win. I've got them to win quite comfortably by 15 points. But unfortunately, for my lad friends in Gauteng, I've got the Emirates Lions to go down, and to go down by 20 points to the Ospreys.
Wow. I mean, that's not pretty at all. That is really quite deflating.
Yeah, they don't play well away from home, and some would say they don't play well at home.
At all.
So yeah, I thought they were poor against the Bulls. They lost 31-15. They were competitive for about 50 minutes. I just don't like the look of that side. They really do need one or two big name players. Hoping that Jordan Hendrickson has a good game.
Yeah,
it's a big statement month for him in terms of forcing his way into that end of year tour with the Boks. But I don't see the Lions coming out with a victory. But my God, what a weekend of rugby we have.
Beautiful.
It's all back.
It's back.
And I hope you've got a very, very appreciative, comforting partner at home who accepts that Saturday is kind of like a bit of a D-Day, and treat them well, spoil them, and let them allow you to indulge in probably the busiest rugby weekend we've had for some time.
Absolutely.
And the bad news for those partners is it's only going to get busier.
How crazy is it? We're going into the second season of URC. We have a defending championship team. We have a team that was in the final. It's fabulous. I mean, South African rugby is in a good space at the moment. We just need the Boks to come to the party.
We do, and we need a near miracle in Auckland. That's not going to happen. It's always lekker chatting with you, Zels. Money Man, he's not here today because he's on a flight back from Europe. Check out his Facebook page and his Twitter feed. You'll get his tips for the game, and we'll be chatting on Monday. We will be wrapping it all up. And who knows, maybe we will be saying Springboks 2022 Rugby Championship winners.
Wow.
Either way, it's going to be Boks by more than 10.
Enjoy it.